maybe is, what is Planoly? What does that look like, and how can I get access to it? So the first part to say is that it's all web-based. I am in a Chrome browser. If you go to planoly.com, you can sign up if you don't have an account already, but you will be invited to a project on your account. If I log in, I'll be presented with my workspaces and any of the projects that I'm working on. On the top level, we have our account access, and different accounts can have different setups so that you can group these per project or per company or per workspace, lots of different ways to organize it. I'm going to simply create a new project, and the starting point for our first project, for our first part of the demo, I'll walk through these first 3 modules. So if I say this is our project, and if I hit create, the first part that we will see is a set of templates. Let me jump back in our slides. The first module in the series is the plan module. The plan module allows you to, from your templates or from the industry standard templates, drag and drop or click on those tiles to create your starting point for either an EIR or a BIM execution plan or a bunch of the other really important documents that we highlighted from the ISO standards. And we are simply going to use the plan module to start to create and collaborate, not just on static information, but also maybe embed videos, allow you to go through a process of sharing and commenting and publishing on content in smaller pieces, smaller chunks of information, and also complement that with the rich library of standards that are available. So let me jump back. So we're in the software again. I'm going to flick backwards and forwards. One of the first starting points is to know which templates you would like to use. Here we have the ISO 19650 templates, which I think would be useful for you guys, but there are others and also other languages available inside of the app. For the workflow, let's create an EIR with a BEP. That BEP could be a pre or post contract, a pre or post appointment document. Then maybe we would like to have some record of the minutes from our meetings, and simply I'm going to hit create, and that will then from those documents create us the 3 tabs. So we have a tab for the EIR, Exchange Information Requirements, a tab for the BIM Execution Plan, and a tab for the meeting minutes. The first thing to note in this structure is if we fold up everything, we collapse all of the levels, you can see the top level here is a category. If I open the category, you can see these are what we call plan sections, and plan sections are reusable pieces of content that if I open up, you can see either it's text, it could be tables, it could be images, it could be videos, it could also be documents as well. So we can embed and drag and drop documents into the content. Fully editable, everything as you would expect inside of a browser. For the very detailed and maybe advanced teams, there is also a code view that you can dig into the HTML and embed pretty much anything that you can imagine that can be embedded inside of a web browser. So the first part was pretty simple. We started off with some documents and we created our content. The next part would be to start to adapt that content, fill in the project details, for example, calling this the facility name, new project, etc. If I can spell. And as you start completing this content, you would then start to say that it is ready for somebody to comment on. And as the comments come in from your team members, if I could mention certain team members, it's only me at the moment, but if I start to create content and comments, you can see when this was created, when it was shared, what the comments and conversation is. And then if I was to then say, oh, I didn't mean to do that, I meant to go to published, but you can then start to see when it changes status to become published as well. So the whole history of every section is retained inside of each section. The history of the activities on the project feed are also contained inside of the notification side and on the panel on the right-hand side. So we can track all of the time what's going on. One of the things that you might want to do as you are maybe completing your BIM execution plan is dig into other content that you might have had in other projects. And if we are on the left-hand side, we can also access the templates. And if we wanted to access and then maybe find something about coordination, we can see something about how we manage clash detection, and maybe this is a template or a section that we would like to drag and drop into our project. So this complementing with our existing standards, complementing with historical project data, and continually building up this set of documentation to make it a lot easier for teams to collaborate and agree on the plan. Let me pause there, and we'll have a brief recap on each of these modules, but that is the plan module, using templates that range from your exchange of information requirements right the way through to capturing meeting minutes, and being able to transition these plan sections from an in progress through shared and then also published status. As we work on this, we might want to filter just for what is shared so that we can start to understand what we need to comment on. We might want to filter for just what's published so that we can see what's available and authorized for use by everyone on the project. That is the plan module. There is a lot more to it, but I'm sure that there'll be some questions as well in the Q&A time. So let's move on to the scope.